Hey guys, Ash here for the Gunners and Blues. This is match reaction to, as the topic says, barcodes to Toffeeless Everton 1. What can we say? We didn't think it was going to get any worse after, the horrid performance against Southampton last week, and with some incentive you would have hoped because of Liverpool winning yesterday, that knocking us off the perch, that we would have some sort of an initiative to go forward and take the game to Newcastle. Now, I said in the preview the game was going to be difficult. They were going to make it hard for us, but not only did we not make it hard for them, we made it easy for them by not turning up. I think Carlo Ancelotti, for the first time, can take 100% of the blame. Okay, we rephrase that: 90% of the blame, the 10% goes to the players who didn't bother their arse on the pitch, whether they're capable or not. As backup players coming into a team when you lost some of your key players, they were dreadful, and in particular no more than Andre Gomez. Now, we all huge Andre Gomez fans. We think he's been very, very a good player for us since he joined from Barcelona. But the problem is, and it's just my feelings here, because of that injury, you're not the same player. I've said it before on the numerous occasions that the perfect example on this is Michael Owen. Michael Owen gets his leg broken. Liverpool then sell him for a measly small amount when he's in the height of his career to Real Madrid. And why? Because they knew his legs were never going to be the same again. Hence the reason why he went for such a small fee at the time. Anyway, getting back to the game, the formation was wrong. The starting lineup was wrong. I did say bring in John Joe Kenny. He didn't have a good game whatsoever. Nkunku tried, but when he got to the byline, there was no reaction from the players to help him out. Allen had a poor game. I said Gomez was definitely one of the worst. Our best player, believe it or not, was the debutant Olsen in goal. He made a couple of great saves actually to keep us in the game, to keep it at the 1-0 and the 2-0. The penalty was a dubious one. It's the one thing I do feel sorry for Andre Gomez. I don't believe he knew that Callum Wilson was there, and he was just sweeping out the leg to clear the ball. He didn't know he was coming up high behind him, and unfortunately he caught him. And you can see why the penalty was given, but in my opinion it was harsh. Where does this leave us? Well, actually, I'll go back to the game slightly. We were like playing at 5 miles an hour from pretty much most of the game, and then we went 2-0 down, and then all of a sudden we increased it to 10 miles an hour. And we got our just rewards, I suppose, in that respect. When we all thought, when we've seen a Iwobi coming on the final few minutes, we thought, okay, here we go. But he actually put the cross in to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who scored our consolation at the near post at a very, very tight angle. So that's one positive, that he keeps his goal scoring form going. But apart from that, it just goes to show that we can't win a game with Richarlison. The stats are there. James is obviously being a playmaker. I don't know what's happening with Allen. I believe that he's just not fit. He doesn't seem to be bossing the midfield like he did at the very start of the season. We're missing Luka Dean obviously today. Coleman 100% that we're missing. Mina was caught out again a number of times and led to the second goal. It's making you think, okay, were we just lucky at the start of the season, or that we need those players to get up there and do the biz that is needed? And the bottom line is, we play Manchester United next, and it took them a long time to break Newcastle down, but once they did it, they were all over them and comfortably won the game. And it doesn't look good for us getting anything. Now, that's just my personal opinion. People might agree with me. Oh, you're Mr. Negativity, but hey, we're Everton supporters. You get onto that kind of high roll and you're up in that top end of the table, and you're with the performances we have had, especially against Spurs, being so dominant, you're thinking, okay, we have that midfield now. But once we lose key players like this, like we won't have Richarlison for the Manchester United game. Thankfully, we'll have Luka Dean back. I can't imagine we'll have Coleman back. Some people are saying, okay, it's time for Mina to come out of the side. Hopefully by the time Sunday comes, Holgate will have regained full fitness that he can actually start. Possibly what will more likely happen is, because Holgate can play at right back, maybe he'll slot in there with Mina keeping it, or maybe even Godfrey might come in. But it's such an important game, because if I'm correct in saying this, by the time all the games are finished this weekend, we could be in 8th position, and that's a hell of a drop. I know there's very little points in it, a win or two and you're back up there again, but As I said in other videos, we can't be going to places like St James's Park, to barcodes and losing games like that, losing at Southampton. No disrespect to those guys, but the money that we spent, the club that it is much, much bigger than any Toon Army, than any Saints. It's we're the people's club, we're the Toffees, but we don't want to be the sticky Toffees that when the going gets tough we just fall away. The guys that come in to decide when they are called upon need to put the shift in, and they didn't do it today, they didn't do it last week, and I have a funny feeling they're not going to do it next week either. But in saying that, we've seen there today with Andre Gomez on the left hand side, he can't do it. Sigurdsson, he's slow as well, but at least he got back to, in the sense of the long distance shots, going over the bar. At least he was making the effort, hitting those shots. But now I think it's time for the Manchester United game that Anthony Gordon starts. I think Carlo, number one, has to go in there tonight, tear the you-know-what off them for such an abysmal performance like they did last week, and make it known that nobody's position is safe. And I think no more so than Anthony Gordon has to come in and start that game on the left-hand side, not Alex Iwobi. Bernard was ineffective when he came on as well. So unfortunately our top spot has moved. I haven't had a chance to look at the table since I travelled back on the bus. I don't even know what the story is with the Manchester United and Arsenal game, so I'll have to look up when I finish this video. But sadly, it's 2 from 2 now in defeats. We need to hit back very, very strongly and very, very quickly. And in the transfer window again, I think more key positions need to be covered, especially in the right back position and in our forward line for backup. And look at the bench today, it wasn't great. Anyway, final score, Newcastle 2, Everton 1. Take